Hello. Okay, sorry, I got a call. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. So, okay. Let me create a class. Again, I'm going to tell you about recursion methods. Demo REC. Okay, now I'm going to write access specifier public static void main. In the morning session itself, one of the students in the section 2 asked about a question. I will tell you at the time of the overriding concept. Okay, just make sure that inform me to explain that one, which is a very important topic at the time of interviews and all. Yeah. So see this, when I'm going to remove this one, is this correct or not? So this is the interview question so many times asked in somewhat MNC companies. How a compiler came to know that this is a main method. So how the compiler knows that this is a main method? Based on the array of string values we'll mention over here. Based on that only, the compiler will search for a main method based on these arguments. So initially it goes towards the class file whose name is a demo rec, and it goes into that and it will search for the method consisting of a string args. String argument, this is a variable name. Every time it will search for this. If I'm going to remove this one, will it run? Check it out. See this, class demo REC does not have a main method. So now we came to know that compiler recognizes the main method based on the arguments we are having inside the parenthesis. See this, it is required. Then only the compiler recognizes this as a main method, or else it throws an error at the time of runtime. Compile them, it won't throw any error. It will consider this as a single method itself. But the main method will be recognized on the basis of string args. This is the question somebody asked in the section 2. Sir, how it will recognize? So based on this, it will be recognized. Okay, just remember this one, which is a very important thing. And one more thing is there. Yeah, see this. This is the question also they asked. Oh, I'm going to write void test. So I'm created a method test. Every time we are writing the methods by using the static keyword. So many times we wrote in this way only. But this time it is not showing an error. Why it is not showing an error? Because we are not calling this method from the static method. If you are going to call any method from the static method, it is essential that it should have a static status over here, or else it throws an error. See, I'll give an example. Test. See, now you will get error. What the error will get? Non-static methods test cannot be referred. So when you are going to call a method from a static method, it is essential to mention a static status over here, or else it throws error. See, error has been won. This is the question he asked. Yeah, it is a very important question. You have to remember all these things. If we write int args in a main method, then okay, so you are asking to change that one. Each and every values will be considered as strings only. It won't take anything. Let me see this. Int. See this. Each and everything, the values what we are passing, it will be considered as a strings only, whether it is an integer or a character or a float, whatever it is, the strings will get. But if you're going to mention an integer, it won't be in a proper manner. It will say that it can't be recognized. What my point? Strings should be there because strings allows everything what we pass. This is the main thing you have to remember. I think you got your answer. Okay, so what are all the things calling from the static method? It is essential to mention static over here, or else it throws error. But if we are not calling anything over here, there is no need to mention a static. What is a static? Use within the class. Don't go outside. So if you are going to use within the class, there is no need to create any object. Static in the sense, we are not going to change it. It is already available inside your class. So that's why use this one. There is no need to creation an objects like constructors are there. So after creating an object for the particular class, it will be accessed automatically. In the same way, this method, if you declare this inside a static, there is no need to call it out. It will directly accessed. I will take another example. I mean, at the time of after the completion of this, so that you will get a clear idea about each and everything, the things what you learned previously, how it will be managed based on your information what you got. I think okay. There is no need to worry about that. Java is a very easy language. You can learn it very quickly. In my point of view, you people are following in a good manner. Okay. So now itself you got an idea about this and this static keyword. So only when we are calling a method from the static method, then only it should be with a static status. If there is nothing we are calling from the main method or a static method, there is no need to mention a static over there. So got your point? Okay, now we are going for the recursion method, right? Okay. So now I'm going to write a test. Sorry. So I need to declare this as static. Okay, will you, because we are going to use this inside the main class itself, I just mentioned the access as a private. So it can't be accessed from the outside the class. Okay. System notes auto println. Let me initialize. Over here we'll write as recursion method int I is equals to 1. Okay. Sorry. Why it is showing error? So this is also a non-static method. So we need to declare it as static. Okay, the error has been gone. So you have to remember the methods as well as the variables also. So if you are going to call anything from the static, it should be a static, or else it throws error like non-static methods or variables cannot be accessed. Okay. Some other guy asked, if we don't write a static in a main method, what will happen? These are all the sample things. Based on this, each and everything will be accessed based on our particular point of view. You just run in. These are the simple things. It can't be recognized. So what we are doing, the structure should starts the main method basis on this one only. The structure should be in this way only. We can't change it. Not even the main and void and even public too. So it is essential. The structure of a language, Java language is in this way only. We can't change anything over here. If we change anything, the main can't be identified inside your class. Okay, don't change it and all. If required, please try in your PC on your own. If it is like a big one, then I'm going to explain that one. There is no need to change anything over here because the structure what they made at the time of development, they just provided that this is the way you have to follow. You have to go in this way only. If you avoid anything over here, the method can't be recognized inside your class. It will search for it, everything. If you miss anything, the method can't be recognized. So you have to remember this one. Okay. Okay, the loop will continue. Actually, this is a complete recursion method. See this, I'm calling this is called calling function. Sorry, calling method. And this is method declaration. Please remember the words, very important. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, this is declaration of a variable. Okay, so this is a declaration of a variable and this is the declaration of a method, and this is method calling. Okay, and this is the main method. So it is essential to mention each and everything what you wrote inside a class. So if it is like what this program will do, so the main program concept is based on a recursion method. So that's why I mentioned the name over here. This is a descriptive comment. So this is the descriptive comment, says completely about the class what you are going to do. So when a person after the, it is like, see, in the organization itself, if you people are working on the project for 20 days or 10 days, after this, some other reasons, you have to send that project code to some other people. They just change their mind. The client got changed their mind and they asked us, please submit the progress of the project to the some other guys, some other team. They are going to handle that. So if you write without comments and all, they can't even understand what you wrote over there. So based on these comments only, the other programmers will came to know that, okay, this class is this, what you wrote. Okay, this class is based on the recursion method. So in this way, a programmer came to know that whether the given program, what it does, I mean, the way how we wrote, based on that information, the another programmer came to know that whether you wrote in a proper manner or not. So this is the way they will do. This is the process of doing. So there should be a descriptive comment, and who is the author for that? If is any organization over there, they will mention like author, like CTS or TCS. So this is the way they will mention. But here itself, if we are going to write, we'll put our name over here, like this is our name. So in this way, they will write. Just remember all these things which are essential for you, need for you. Okay. So now what is this? This is the main method. Okay, let me run this program. So it is a complete iterative loop. See this. So this is the error, doesn't matter for you. 681. See this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. So this is the process of iteration without using for loop or do while loop. Some other iteration concepts are there, like for loop, do while, so many things are there. But without using that, we can directly call the same method by creating a loop. See this, it will continue. So it will happen. So in this way, so just remember this one. This is a very easy concept, the recursion method. Okay, and I'm going to close this topic. Let me go for another topic. Okay, recursion has been completed. Let me share you my screen. Okay. Access control has been recursion methods completed. Nesting of methods. Even I am unable to understand that. So many topics we covered over here. Like we are calling one method from another method. And from that method, we are going to call another method. That is called a nested. So again, he said like, can you explain nesting of a methods? Okay, whatever it is, we'll do that one. See this. Let me take, okay. So here, I'm going to take, this is test method. Nested in the sense calling one method from another method. And if there is another method, this we'll call it as, we'll take it as method 1. And we are going to call this method 1. And from here, I'm going to call method 2. So it is not available. That's why it is showing error. So it has been created. Let me copy this. So here I'm going to paste. This is method, sorry, method 2. So now you got to understand, right? This is called nested. I don't know why they given that one actually. So that's why I'm saying Java, what in your syllabus is very easy. So don't be panic like, so Java. It's very easy topic. This is nested methods. Okay. It is nested, like calling one method from another method. So here itself, we are inside a main method. We'll call it as main method. Okay, now I'm going to run this. You can make a loop, like we can call a main also. Yeah, this is also a question. What they made, you can call a main method also, like null. We are not going to send any values to this. Just we are sending a null over here. Let me run this. See this. Looping will occur. So don't you think like, sir, can we call a main method? Yes, we can call it. If required, we can call the main method also. Just remember that one. Now you got the point, right? So it is not required to call it here. Just our information point of view, I just mentioned. So here itself, I'm calling main method 1 from the main method, and from the method 1 to method 2. So this is the concept of nested methods. Okay, now you got an idea about this, right? There is nothing to explain over here, because only calling one function from another function. If we are going to take more than two calling functions, then we will call it as a nested functions itself. Okay. Let me share you. So this is the, now we are going to discuss about the important topic called overriding methods. So we have overloaded methods over here and overloaded constructors. There is a question for you at the time of examination. You have to remember this one. You have to take care of overloading and overriding. Don't get confused. Okay, both are on the same track, but here in overriding concept, we will use is a relation. But in the sense of overloading concepts, one method will be overloaded by the another method based on the parameters what we pass. So in similarly, in the constructors also, we'll use overloading concepts. Based on the information what we got from the outside by using parameters, each method will be overloaded based on their arguments only. So in the concept of overloading, we are having the same function names, but different parameters we are using. But in the sense of overriding methods, we'll use the same function name and same return type and same arguments. Just remember this one. In examination, they will ask like, what is the difference between overloading and overriding? The main difference is it is having different arguments inside overloading. But in the sense of overriding, we don't have a different arguments. We're having the same arguments, same function name. After the example itself, you will understand very easily about this. Here inside, we are having same function name, but we are having different arguments. But in the sense of this, we're having same function name, but arguments also equal, and the return type should be equal. Then only the method will be overridden by the method mentioned in the main class. After the example, you will understand the main scenario, main context, what I am saying. Okay, now we'll go for the example. Okay. Yeah. So what I said, overriding concept comes under is a relationship. What is a relationship? I mean, you are familiar with the inheritance concept. What is the inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but acquiring the properties of a parent element. And suppose you people are having somewhat different properties, and also you people will acquire, I mean, you will get the same properties of your parents too, similarly. But not all the things that your parents have with you. So it should be remembered, this one is a relation in the sense it's a time of inheritance, the is a relation will occur. Okay, so one more thing you have to remember, if the parent class consisting of a method and we are going to use the same method inside the subclass, and the method inside a parent method will be overridden, we'll call it as the method inside the parent element, will call it as overriding method. After the example, you will get a clear idea about that. Just I'm saying in the information point of view, in your parent class, you are having one method with the name, we'll take it as, okay, run. So we are having the method run inside your parent class. So inside your subclass, you are having the same name, run. When the subclass inherits the properties of a parent element, then we will call it as, after the inheritance only, then we will call it as the method inside the parent class will be overridden. I think you got a good idea about this. Wait a second, I will show you. Not required. Actually, morning itself I explained. Yeah, see this. So public class, this is a class name. This is the class name, and this is the main method. So inside a main class, this is the main class, and this is the subclass. So subclass is outside the main class. I didn't mention it as inner class. Please make sure that remember this thing. I didn't mention over here. If I mention like this, we'll call it as an inner class. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to write it outside the main class. Okay, when I'm running that, it will ask for the main method class only, not this. It doesn't have a main method. Okay, just remember what I'm saying. So this is the method I just declared inside the main class. This is the main class. This is the main class. Okay, if you you will get confused, let me change the name of the class too, so that it is easy for you to understand. Refract. Where is the rename? Refract rename. I'll mention as parent class. See this? I changed it. Let me change this one also. 1 second. What did I change? I changed this one. Ah, shit. I need to change this, not that one. Refract. If you want to change or rename the name of a class, it should be in this way. Refractor, and there should be rename. Inside rename, you are going to change. This is a parent class. Okay, refract. So the name has been changed. So let me, okay, has been changed. So this is a parent class and this is a subclass, which extends by using the keyword extends, the inheritance concept will occur. Okay, by using the keyword extends. So if you want to get the properties of a main class, it is essential to use extends keyword and then the name of the parent class. This is a subclass. So what the subclass will sir, actually, it will ask the parent class, please give me your properties, so that I will get somewhat, I'm having somewhat different properties with me. I need you to, I need your properties too. What should I need to do? So please use the extends keyword and then use my name over there. So my properties will be acquired by you. The parent class will say, use extend keyword and then use my name over there, so that you will get my properties too. Like your surname, you will get your parent surname, isn't it? In that way only, you will get the properties of your parents. This is the way how easy a relationship will occur. Okay, see this. I created a run method inside a parent class, and inside subclass I'm also having same name. When I'm uses this one, this keyword by using is a relation, then this method is called overridden. See this here, when I created like this, see, is overridden. O symbol is there. Why it is showing here the warning? Annotate at override. So it is required to mention like at. So sorry, 1 second. Alt enter. Okay, see this. This method has been overridden. So when you call this subclass after the creation of an object, this method will be run, or else this will be accessed if you won't use this one. So instead of this, use this, and we'll call this as overridden by this method. Got my point? So this is the concept of overriding. Sir, what is the use of overriding concept? Suppose we'll consider a banking sector. Inside a banking sector, I'm having ombudsman. We'll call it as, in the banking sector, there is a big organization called ombudsman. If anyone do any wrong things inside the banking sector, we can directly complain to the ombudsman. So what the ombudsman is having, it is having some sort of information. So inside the ombudsman, this is an organization having banks. So inside the banks, there are so many banks over there, like SBI, AOB, IB, so many banks are there. So based on the information what we got, 1 second. Yeah. So this is the ombudsman organization having a banks, but banks are having it different SBI, IOB, IB. So many banks are there inside India. So when the information, so this organization asks like, can you tell me about your interest rates? So each and every bank will write the same method like interest. Each and every banks having same method. So each and every bank having same method. So when you are going to send, I mean, this organization is going to access this interest, there are so many things are available. Then what should I access? So at this time, it will be overridden inside this. Then only there is nothing like, okay, I will tell you, wait. So this rate of interest is 6%. This is 7%, and this is the 8%. And each and every bank consisting of same method interest. So this ombudsman having the same function like that, and it will be overridden by the particular bank interest rate. Then only it will be accessed, or else every bank's information will be gathered and there will be a clash in between the interest rates and all. So based on this information, by this concept only, banks are going to share their interest rates to the main organization. So this is the use of overriding concept. Please don't forget, this is a very important topic, and you should remember one thing. What is the relation in between overriding and overloading? This is the main concept in the second unit. You have to remember this, and everything is like a waste actually. The constructor overloading methods, and overriding concepts. These are the main concepts you have to understand particularly, and all these will be useful the time of working in the workstation. Okay. And actually I have work 10 minutes left, right? Okay, it's okay. I will complete that one. Let me share this. Okay, sir, what happened if we create an object for a parent class? Then I call through a scope operator. Scope operator. What is a scope operator? I didn't get that one. Scope in the sense, do we have any access? Okay. Do we have this? I don't remember this one. I think it is available at the time of C language. No. There is a ternary operator. We discussed about the ternary operator. So I will check it out and let you know in the time of, actually I will tell you again, I will tell you about the overriding. I didn't get you properly. What happens if we created an object for the parent class? Where you are going to create the parent class? Inside where? Please make sure that, okay. In a main method, if we create an object for a parent class, yeah, we can create. Nothing will happen. You can call directly like this. It is okay. What are all the things we do? So this should be a static. And if we're going to make a static, can't be overridden. Let's see, all the things has been gone. So main concept of this is, let me delete this. You can access everything, but the main concept is overriding will occur when a parent extends so this is the main organization and these are the child banks. So if they want these properties and this method will be overridden. I will take you that example. Wait a second. Object for the parent class access. There is nothing like the through scope operator. See, this got wrong. Can't be overridden. I need to remove this now. It should be static then. There will occur a lot of problems if you do that. So we need to avoid that one. So that's why we are doing an overriding concept. I think so many information, I will tell you about, actually, there are so many information about overriding. This is not the last class for overriding. There are 2 more examples are there. I need to tell you about that. And there is a work assigned for me. So I need to leave, actually 5 minutes left, right? It's okay. You may leave now. So if required, tomorrow we'll discuss about the same concept. Okay, don't forget. Okay, so many people got absent today. Okay, you may leave the class now. Leave.